Good morning and good energy to us all. Life force energy. So good to see you. And let's get started with some belly breathing. So placing the hands over the lower abdomen. You could be seated or standing for this, but allow your spine to be effortlessly kind of rising up to the heavens. That helps to have good alignment, soft knees. And then I invite us to soften the whole front body, the belly, the face. And then we're allowing the breath to come in through the nose and into the lower part of the lungs so that the lower abdomen expands on the inhale. And feel free to close your eyes. I might keep my eyes a little bit open just to watch the waiting room here. And as you exhale through the nose, as the belly softens towards the spine. The hands help just give us that feedback where the breath is going. Belly expands on the inhale, softens on the exhale. And allow the arms to come by the side, and we'll do back a little bit. Soaring eagle breath to open up the upper reaches of the torso and the juncture where the arms connect. So we inhale the arms up overhead or to the three that we have that mobility. Crisscross the palms and the wrists and the palms come together. Notice which like hand is in the front, and because we're going to alternate. And then on the exhale, we float our soaring wings down. Bend the knees, sink the chest a little bit like you're flying. Inhale up. Alternate which hands in front. And the other thing you can do is like get a little extra breath. Now the breath's kind of in the upper reaches of the chest. You can wiggle, make some space, all in the framework of that inhale. Alternating. We're also stretching kind of the insides by the breath or the structures from the inside out. Let's do two more, one on each side, say. And actually on the final inhale, we'll stay up there and wiggle a little bit. You can keep breathing, but just kind of shimmy, making some space in the ribs, in the chest, in the armpits, and the shoulders. And again, modify however, like gives you a good stretch, but not overdoing it. And then we'll finally just soar back down. Great. All right, let's just do a little chi scattering just to move that energy out. Arms are gonna be parallel to the earth. We're gonna bend the knees, shift the hips, the arms float down. Bend the knees, come back to center. They flow up, but it's all with momentum. So it looks like this. So once you got the pattern, Kathleen, just let the arms fall with gravity and swing with momentum. The movement's really generated from the hips and knees. One arm's in front, one arm's behind. Exhaling through the mouth to release anything, to clear the way. Couple more. And then slow the breath down. Gather up some heavenly energy and then bring some energy down just for grounding. If there's any kind of possibility of lightheadedness from all that, we'll do one more. Pulling down the heavens for grounding. Lightheadedness. Great. And we'll do a couple more purges throughout. Purges are, just a way to release old energy, stuck energy with intention and skill. So let's do this. We will do some warm-ups of the spine. We're going to start with spinal cord breathing. This is our cat-cow, but we're standing. So we keep the knees bent the whole time to the best of our abilities, and the fists are loose. And the arms help just, again, open up the shoulders and the upper chest as we arch the whole spine into extension. And then exhale the spine into flexion. And elbows draw rainbow arches for additional structural opening. Get your head and neck involved, gently opening up the spine up there in the cervical spine. And when you keep the knees bent, you keep that movement in the spine, not a hip flexor stretch. Synchronize breath and movement. And then on the next inhale, so from this centered exhale, we're going to spiral and then extend. Exhaling to the center. And then going to the other side on the next inhale. Back to the center. Do that a couple more times. How about one more on each side? All right, so extension and flexion. Then we'll do some lateral spinal opening. And I want to just point this out and move this back. That there's so many ways to move our joints. And one way is to engage all the muscles around the joint. Like some kind of side bend like this would be more like that. It's a stretch, but we're actually using the muscles of the spine to stretch the spine side to side, but these ones that we often do are more where we use momentum of another part of the body to kind of get some movement. So one version you could do is this one where I'm shifting the weight from foot to foot, and just like the body is just in one plane and moving side to side very gently. It's called dog wags its tail. So I'm kind of bending the knee and maybe pushing off just a tad from the foot, and then letting that ripple up the spine. Dog wags its tail. So even the tailbone is just softly moving. So it's going to be less dramatic than a side bend, but it's going to open the joints in a different way because the muscles are soft. Vary the pace. And your stance could get wider, and just make more space. Work a smaller and quicker. And slow it down, slow it down. And then let's go in. My feet are now on a bit of a wide stance, so join me in a wide stance if you're not already. And let's do a forward fold, and then we'll transition to full body flow. And this one's is more about the major muscle groups, the front and the back body getting stretched, which opens up the energy of the tissues and the meridians. So we're just going to slowly fold forward, and we're going to breathe, breathe, breathe as we stretch, stretch, stretch. Breathe into the back body. Bend your knees if needed. Otherwise, just feel into the stretch fully. Soften the face and the jaw, the neck and the shoulders. One more breath and out, deep and full, low and slow. And then we'll bend the knees, grab the back of one of your hands, head heavy. As we inhale, we roll up, coming kind of unfurling like a fern. Then we're going to push the hips forward, open up the front body. This is the top of the inhale. Exhale, back down like this, or swan dive, or roll down. Bend the knees, roll up on the inhale. So again, you could swan dive to take some weight off the low back. Full body flow, or flowing with the breath, exhaling on the way down. One more down and up. Push the hips forward. And then let's come out and upright and return the hands down. Then we can go right into knocking on the door of life, turning into the hips, a little bit the legs, bounce the knees. Breathing deeply through the nose. Twisting the spine, get your head and neck involved. And then let your arms knock with some vigor on the belt channel. Keep going, keep going. If your knees are tender, you can just come off the heel a little bit as you twist. It takes some kind of torque out of the knee joint. That's another modification. You can incorporate if need be. And then the arms are swinging with momentum because the lower body is doing some things. We're wrapping around the waist for a few iterations, and then we'll come up to the chest, the front hand. Like that, right below the collarbone with some impact, waking up the immune function and respiration. Breathing deeply to the belly. And come back down to the belt. Just slow down, unwind, come to some stillness. Close the eyes to take a feel your chi moment. Yay, good morning, right? Just a good little warm up thus far. Let's do one more purge just to keep the energy moving. Let's do the pump. We'll start with the easy pump. So the easy pump, we're not hinging at the hips yet. We're just going to bend the knees and drop the arms. You could exhale through the mouth. Kind of warming up the shoulders still. Throwing what's unneeded to the ground. You can stay here or go to the full purge, which is moving from the knees and hinging. More. This is therapeutic for the low back. And then pulling down heaven again for just lightheadedness, potentially settling towards earth, and the gravity holding us. Right. Nice. All right, let's do a little warm up for the lower body, just gentle joint opening. So shifting the weight to one leg, coming up on the ball of the foot, on the other, and we're just gonna, and the legs kind of under the hip, more or less, and we're just gonna kind of roll across the ball of the foot, a little bit of a foot massage, better if you're barefoot, and then circles the ankle, knee and hip in a gentle way, massages the foot. And my hands are like kind of on my whatever iliac crest here, and I'm kind of stretching my thumbs. Feels good. Joints, base of my thumbs. We're going two directions ultimately, but right now just one. This is a kind of a good example where the hip joint is opening gently, but we're not like muscling it. And then go the other direction. So from the outside to the inside, going. Opening in ankle, knee, and hip. Very good. And then shift to the other side. The ball of the foot, and then weight from big toe to little toe. and then to the other direction. Little toe to big toe. So let's do this. Let's do a little bit of a spinal wave and get our arms a little bit involved too. One more, we're doing a lot of stuff to kind of open up the shoulders here, but let's just first rest the hands here, hinge at the hip, lead with the chin, kind of a flat back. Bend the knees, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, and roll up, unfurling like a fern. Exhale here. Up. And then if you want to get the arms involved and open up the shoulders, you could inhale, let the arms float up. Exhale, let them float down. Two more. Right. And then we'll do the small sassy version without the arms just to kind of warm up for our flow. So still the same components where you're hinging and leading with the chin, but just a smaller movement. Fluid. And just a nice way to get the spine, you know, really moving and the energy open there. All right. So let's do this. Let's shake. That'll be our final purge as we transition to our flow part of the practice. And the bouncing from the center and from the knees, you could tap the heels. The wrists move with momentum. The occiput is soft. The jaw. And exhale through the mouth, releasing. This is too much. An upper body version like this is fair game with the same breath pattern. Belly is jiggling. There's momentum coming from the low body and movement, allowing the movement in the extremities, the upper extremities, the head. Releasing anything else that's not going to serve you in this practice, your life. One more. And coming to stillness, closing the eyes and taking a pause to feel your energy, notice what's alive there. There, take my gloves off. And let's turn our attention to the energy between the palms. You could rub your hands together just to kind of accentuate sensation, the subtle body sensations. Just feel the perhaps repulsion and attraction of that, the electromagneticness of your energy as it's detectable between your palms. And then turn the palms down. I'm just bringing my hands and arms out so they're just lined up with the shoulder joints. We're gonna go into full, opening the flow, which looks a little like this. Inhale. Let's see if kind of in addition to fluid and effortless movement synchronized with breath, inhale up, exhale down. Your hands don't need to come up any higher than lower part of your shoulders. It can even be like really a smaller movement like this. Breath is in and out through the nose. But see if you're feeling and you're aware of that invisible life force energy and it's palpable to you, notice that also we share energy with everything around us. So there's energy below us. This is opening the flow to two directions. So there might be some electromagnetic aliveness below your hands that's with the earth, or just kind of in the field of chi that we're swimming in. And the heavenly energy above and around us too, that we're opening the flow. Bringing up earth energy, bringing down heavenly energy, or however you experience it. But just know that this energy is all over, all around, in, through, and as you, your energy field beyond your skin, and the energy of nature, heaven, earth. And if this is old hat to them, definitely incorporate a weight shift towards the heels on the inhale and towards the balls of the feet on the exhale. Your feet are going to be about shoulder distance apart. Back up a little bit. Here's your knees are soft. The effortlessness comes in like letting the breath be kind of the engine of the movement or something like that, where the hands just are floating up as you inhale. They're connected, the movement and the breath. As you exhale, also just floating down effortlessly, buoyed by the energy field all around. The shift is towards the toes on the exhale, towards the heels on the inhale. That just allows some undulation of the spine. Turn to the side. That's helpful. Keeping your shoulders and shoulder blades soft. You know, the arms are just floating up, shoulders are soft. We've warmed them up a lot, so but there's not a lot of muscular engagement with the shoulders. Simple enough movement, not necessarily easy to master, but just allow it to be a moving meditation. Give yourself permission, nothing else to do, nowhere else to be. unify breath and movement. They're one. They can be one thing. Because this can just be a movement that allows you to be in a moving meditation. Keep coming back to the movement. You can make meaning and say, oh, I'm calming my field, I'm smoothing it out. I've said this many times. Really that engagement between heaven and earth. I'm bringing up heaven, bringing down earth, and mixing it all around in my personal field. Slow it down even more just to a still point for transition with a variation, which is the one that you do one arm at a time. So it's still opening the flow to two directions, heaven and earth, single arm. So we get the hips a little more involved, like that weight shift kind of, if you were doing that, can help like just this movement up and down. For this one, instead of more weight shift, we just bend the knee a little. And these are bent the whole time to some degree. The hip comes forward and that catalyzes the arm moving up. The hip comes back and that pulls the hip down or pulls the arm down. The other hip goes forward. Get still with the inhale on the way up. You're ready to exhale, pull that hip back to neutral. Hip goes high. Really keep all of this soft and low. And just make sure the arm is coming right out kind of from the shoulder joint. It's not coming towards the midline or anything like that. It's just straight out. Now. Hip creates a little bit of the foundation for the movement. Hip comes forward, hand floats up. Hip pulls back. They're connected. Apparently is be good for our brain health, like doing these movements and have different things going on from side to side. Balancing the different hemispheres of our body. I mean, of the brain. And one invitation I'll offer is slowing down everything, slowing the breath and the movement down. If it stays spacious and it doesn't create any contraction. And this is the part of the practice where we do less, but we're accessing more energy. Let's just do a little open the flow with both arms when you get down to the last iteration of arm to arm. Maybe the slower version. Come to a breath. Feeling the energy between the palms again. In front of the belly center. Lower dantian. That's the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, above the teeth there. Gonna play a little more with the energy between heaven and earth. I'm gonna get my gloves. And I've been planned for this one. I've done this for a while, so bear with me. Let me run through it without words once just to kind of remind myself here. That's it. It's in my body, muscle memory. There we go. Okay. So I like this one because it builds on what we just were doing. We're connecting to these energies in Taoism. Between heaven and earth is nature. It's what we see all around, and it includes ourselves. And we're bringing in with intention energy right from the earth. You can see we're like scooping it up, bringing it up, and then we then open up to the heavens and we bring that in, and then we mix it all around. Do the hokey pokey. So we start with the stance, which is kind of our default stance, feet at shoulder or so width apart, facing forward, knees are soft. Of course, modifications would be gesturing towards the earth if bending over, and inverting upside down is hard. This could probably be done seated, I would imagine, to some degree. So what's happening is from this kind of holding a chi ball, the inhale happens, and the inhale is just this movement, an expansion of that energy from like between the palms into this whole kind of oval shape here. And maybe a little bit of a weight shift to the heel. So inhale. And then on our exhale, we come to the earth. So you bend the knees. You could go flat back if you like. Palms face up. That's our exhale. The inhale is scooping that energy. Palms remain facing up, and you're rolling up. And when you get to your exhale, just flip the hands over and the hands still float up. Keep those shoulders kind of soft. And then when you're ready to inhale, flip them over one more time. Now my palms are facing to the heavens and they're lined up right above my crown. And I bend my knees, I bend my elbows, I bring my hands closer to my crown. That's the inhale. And then the exhale, circling it all around, back to holding that chi ball. Inhale. Exhale, come down to earth. Inhale, scoop it up, bring it up. For grounding, flip the palms on the exhale, keep floating. Flip them one more time, inhale. And exhale. And your hands don't really have to touch the head. I think mine are because my gloves are there or whatever, but they're right lined up energetically above. Inhale. Exhale, I'm hinging at the hips and the knees. Inhale, scoop and roll up. Exhale. Flip it over one more time. Inhale. tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth is a nice way. Just keep the energy flowing, especially on your midline meridians. So the hands just kind of stay in that line right in front of your body. And then they flip one more time so they're over the midline or the resting channel. And then out in your egg-shaped field, just reinforcing your Wei Qi. You could think of it that way as well. You're bringing in all the energy that keeps you protected, uplifted, resilient in the face of challenge, grounded from the earth, infilled with divine inspiration from above. Exhale, go down to the earth. Inhale, swoop up. Exhale, let it float up. Flip one more time. Inhale, bring it in, the crown. Exhale. Let's just pause here. We'll kind of just straighten up, but just with the palms face up, right above the crown. And just see like we were pressing and kind of connecting with the energy of the earth below us earlier, the chi ball below us. Let's connect with the chi ball above us, in a way. It's beyond the ball, but feel some energy that's there. And we're kind of just guiding and directing it into this crown. Top of the crown connects with the bottom of the spine, the lowest, most yin point, and those are connected in this vertical thrusting channel, you could say. But anyway, we're bringing it in to the crown and possibly into this moon center or into that thrusting channel. All the heavenly energy that could, infill and inform what's needed for your life, your body, and then circulating, and circling that all throughout. Inhale. And also, I just want to say this movement, I see a lot of people kind of bend back. It's very vertical, like the knees bend, the elbows bend, but the spine is vertical. You stay really kind of anchored in that vertical axis. This has a weight shift, so you move back a little bit. Earth is grounding and centering, realm of form and transformation. 2, 3 more. If that is 3 or 3 without counting, then we'll come back to hold the chi ball. Wonderful. So let's do this. We'll do some centering to store the energy. And we kind of drew this egg-shaped field or kind of reinforce that. So we'll use the centering storage. So the palms face up. They're not touching each other or the belly, but they're at belly center. And if you want to mirror me, then put your left hand on the bottom. And that hand's going to float up effortlessly on the inhale. And come back to the midline here, and then exhaling, bring the energy down the center, and then resting the hand at belly center. So we're drawing that egg shape kind of from down to up. And coming back to that theme of centering. Your gaze could follow the arm as it effortlessly floats up. And we're guiding and directing the energy to belly center, the excess energy for storage as well. One more on each side. And then reinforcing the directing of the energy to the belly center by placing our palms. They can interlock the thumb webbing, and then place them over your belly center, feet and knees together, bamboo in the wind. So really kind of making a strong structure. We're rooted. The legs are together so that the kind of connective tissue soften. Like a bamboo in the wind. We allow movement to emerge and arise, but we're not taken over by the wind, bowled over by the wind, and we're not making anything happen, we're just allowing. Practice into the belly, natural breath, in and out through the nose. This is our standing Shavasana. We're integrating our practice into our nervous system. Bamboo is ruled by wood. Wood element rules the nervous system. Let us allow us to be a grove of bamboo or just like a field, a meadow of these wood element beings that are well rooted, in the earth, growing towards the heavens, and contributing to our well-being, contributing to the infinite field that we share with all of life. So we're broadcasting a vibration like the trees, they exhale the oxygen they need. We're going to exhale a sense of peace or coherence or joy, whatever kind of elevated emotional state you have access to that was cultivated through the practice. We're just going to share some of that. Broadcast the good news. And then we'll just finally circle the palms around the navel, wind it all in, bring ourselves back to physical body land. Thank you so much. And I'm just.
Thank you very much. Thank you.